Hi, RavenQuest here with a GameLit book review. For anyone unfamiliar with GameLit, it's a subcategory of fantasy or sci-fi that incorporates video game or tabletop game style mechanics into the narrative. Depending on how heavily game mechanics are used, the story could be called lit RPG or progression fantasy. The labels aren't super strict. I'll try to describe how mechanics are used and how much. Apocolypse Parenting by Aaron Ampersand is a GameLit apocalypse story. With this trope, modern technology is suddenly removed from our world and the video game mechanics activate. It affects everyone on Earth and nobody knows what's going on or how anything works. The gamers in society are best equipped to adapt. I knew all those years of D&D and Final Fantasy would pay off one day. Apocalypse Parenting is told from the perspective of Megan, a mother of 3 living in a suburb in Alabama. Her husband Vince is on a business trip to Colorado when the story starts. That's about 1,000 miles away, so I don't think we'll be seeing him anytime soon. Mild spoilers incoming. All electronics stop working, and combustible materials like gasoline are neutralized. Aliens broadcast a message to everyone on Earth. We are all the stars of a reality show for intergalactic entertainment. The game ends when humanity reclaims enough landmass, without defining what that means, or 95% of the population is dead. Everyone can select one ability to start, and a list of recommended options is provided. Megan immediately yells at the kids not to choose abilities. Party composition is important. Megan herself chooses a taunt ability to draw attacks away from the children. 9-year-old Micah has his heart set on being an elemental mage and takes Firebolt. He later takes other elemental abilities. 6-year-old Gavin takes Healing Touch, which improves the family's survivability. Using abilities uses physical energy, and magic-like abilities use a lot more, so it's a little bit like magic points. 3-year-old Cassie already chose something that wasn't on the list. Her plush turtle, Pointy Turtle, is now the host for an alien AI. Pointy provides some insight into how the system works, but doesn't function as the player's handbook. She's able to review recordings of previous World Death games, leading to the realization that everyone, even children, will have to fight eventually. The first monster spawn is some kind of plant rodent creature which the children all call a leafin rat. Adults are too busy with survival, so the kids end up naming a lot of the monsters. Every few days, a new monster or challenge is added. Experience points are gained by participating in battle, so Megan needs to figure out how to level Gavin and Cassie. Luckily, water guns count as hits, even if they don't deal damage. Finally venturing beyond their yard, we start to meet other people in the neighborhood. If you don't live in the US suburbs, it may feel weird that the only neighbors the family actually knows are a couple streets away. Megan recognizes some people, but doesn't know their names or anything about them. This is pretty normal. I only know some neighbors' names from getting their mail by mistake. The apocalypse started midday during summer, so some houses are empty because people are at work, but children are home from school. One man is wandering the streets rescuing all the abandoned dogs. There are a ton of characters with different skills, abilities, and motivations, but it doesn't get overwhelming. A second family with kids they were already friends with is the most important group. There's also a nurse, a retired military man, an engineer, and various gamers and role players who take lead roles in the new society. Figuring out how society will work is a big part of the story. Resources are limited, so do they barter? Share freely? Will they be forced to fight each other later? And even if this neighborhood can cooperate, what will happen when they encounter other groups of people? Some people head to the nearest grocery store to scavenge supplies, but everyone who was at the grocery store when the apocalypse started has formed their own tribe. I found the start of the book a bit dull, but it picks up once Megan ventures further from the house. One of my favorite things in GameLit is imagining what I would do in the setting, either playing it as a game or living it. Apocalypse Parenting really nails the relatable setting and characters for me. It reminds me of discussions about what we'd do in a zombie apocalypse. What abilities would you take? What in your home can you repurpose into weapons and armor? Would you team up with neighbors or strike out alone? Megan's husband will need to find a way home. Best case, he could team up with others who are going to be on the same return flight. Fingers crossed we get his story in the future. Apocalypse parenting has violence against monsters and some death of humans. There's some bad words in Megan's thoughts, but everyone watches their tongues around the children. I'll put a link to the series in the description. Like this video if you like this video, and let me know what your favorite Apocalypse series is. Stay magical!